and welcome to my channel, A Cup of Tea with Krista Joy. I am here talking to you about all things health and wellness, my journey in breast cancer, my weight loss journey, and lots of recipes and fun things that I do with my urban farm and my children and my chickens. If you want to hear more from me, make sure you click the subscribe button. Make sure you put on the notification bell so that you can be notified whenever there's a new video. We're going to have one-on-one conversation about self-care. Before we get started, there is always tea. Today I'm using my mug from the Hot Cider Hustle. It is one of the first runs that I did in this season of running. Longer story, I always thought I needed to run to lose weight. Realized I did not enjoy doing it that way, so then I stopped. And as much fun as I had with 5Ks, that was not for me. Recently, I decided it was time to try. And I felt the urge to, maybe this body, this new healthy body, could actually run. And I could. And it's been really fun because it is not something that I do just to run, not to lose weight. I thoroughly enjoy when I do go out. Most days. Once in a while it's not, but most days. Today I am drinking a for me, very classic tea. You will notice I do not drink a lot of black tea. I'm mostly green or herbals, and sometimes rooibos. This tea was one of the teas that, after I got introduced to really good high quality tea, it was the one that I drank in high school. I was the nerd, the geek who would bring my own mug of tea on the bus. This is Good Earth tea. This is their classic sweet and spicy. It is so good. I really love how it has like orange flavors and cinnamon and ginger and anise, and it's really fantastic. It's a classic for me, so I thought today would be a good day to have a good classic tea. And tea is one way that we can do self-care. I'm really excited to share with you about self-care and the experience that I have had with self-care and what it can look like, because there are different seasons. There are seasons where self-care needs to look different. Sometimes they're short seasons, sometimes they're longer seasons. But I have found that taking care of myself is important, but sometimes it looks different than others. In the past, for me, self-care looked like something that was decadent, something that had to take a long time. I had to have all night to myself. I needed to make sure I had a bath and a cup of tea and a movie, and I had to be all by myself. There are times and places for that. Bath bombs are fun, but I didn't really always have time in my life that I could devote to that. So I didn't have a lot of self-care time. Taking a phrase from my mom, she'd be like, Krista, you are burning the candle at both ends. And that was true. I did a lot of just going, and not really stopping. And that was not good for me. As much as having cancer, and going through treatment and chemo and surgery and all the complications, a wise friend came to me and said, as much as I dislike that you have cancer, I am grateful that you have a moment to finally take care of yourself and slow down. And I realized that time in my life, that season of my life, it was necessary to fully take care of myself. I spent time in bed. I would read a lot. I found time to sit and just be and present. There were a lot of times that my mom would come and play a card game with me, and I was grateful. I was lucky that, one, my children were a little on the older side. They were just turning 5 and just turning 8. We had a neighborhood full of kids and a really safe neighborhood that when I had treatment in the summer, I could let my children go off and play, and they were very responsible and come and tell me when they moved to somewhere else, another friend's house, but it worked out really well. And that season of self-care was really important, and that time needed to be the time to sit, the time to just be, the time to read and be quiet and reflective. I got coloring books. That was when adult coloring books were so popular. And I also found that those adult coloring books were a perfect time to spend with my children. You don't think about chemo and cancer journey being a time that you enjoy, but it was really kind of a special time for me and my children to spend this special time together. They would climb onto bed and we would all sit and read. I think that was the type of self-care that I needed at the time. I needed to slow down. I needed to spend quality time with my children because I wasn't doing that enough before that. I was doing the best I could, but I was a busy teacher mom. It was really hard to do that. Then when I had surgery, and that whole year after that was just kind of that quiet, self-reflective time to take care of myself. On the other side, I gave it to myself as an excuse, as a chance to continue it past all the treatment and past all the recovery time and just think, this is what self-care needs to be. I need to just sit. And so I started having quite a sedentary lifestyle, except for my teaching world. Having this go, go, go time and then time where I just sit and just sit was not always positive. And I really believe that that thought process partly got to me where I was. I had the excuse of, I live a busy life. I'm in surgical menopause as a 40-year-old. I taking medication that I ache and hurt, and it was really a challenge, and it was. But I gave it as an excuse. I let it be an excuse to be the only way that self-care was. So then I had my friend who inspired me so much by his weight loss that I knew that I could lose weight. And I got into my program. My mindset changed in so many ways because of my coach. And if you want to learn more, you should definitely check out my video on why you need a coach. My friend gave me some really wise advice. There was a time when he sat me down, but kind of that idea, right? Talked straight to me. I really struggled with being a Philippians 2, 3, and 4 person. And it was something that I had memorized this as a young teenager and aspired, and it was modeled to me, and that was fantastic, but I took it to the extreme. Philippians 2, verses 3 and 4. Do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves. Let each of you look not only to their own interests, but also to the interests of others. And I took that as, I have to ignore myself and put everyone else first. And I really struggled with, well, it can't be a priority if everything becomes a priority. School had to be a priority. My husband had to be a priority. My family had to be a priority. I had to be a priority. They can't all be priorities. And so I really struggled with that. And he sat me down. He looked at me and he said, Krista, basically it says, if you treat yourself like crap, you're only treating other people a little bit better than crap. And I realized, oh my goodness, of course. If I don't take care of myself, there's no way that I can take care of others. And I really hate the phrase, you can't pour out of an empty cup, but there is so much truth out of that. So in this season, I have found that there are times when self-care still looks like what I was doing before. But now, self-care is also taking care of this person, this mind, this body, so that I can take care of others. Now I am exercising every morning. Sometimes I get up extra early. When I was teaching, I was up at 4:30 in the morning, exercising by 5, to school by 7. I am feeding my body in a healthy way, not too much, not too little, just right, everything in moderation, not giving up certain food groups. Taking care of myself is having the downtime, understanding when I need the downtime, including my family on the downtime. I am grateful that this season I don't necessarily need to be at school. I'm teaching music in a different way now because I love music and I love teaching music, but I needed it to look different. And that was part of my self-care too. I needed to have the time away from the classroom. Self-care also looks like, gosh, I take a run, I do a workout, and then I take a bath. Self-care looks like making myself a pot of tea. Self-care looks like, as an extrovert, this is really important to me, reaching out to people that I care about, talking with them, getting together with them. I just had a craft day with my best friend, and it was quiet. We sat at my dining room table, we just did our own crafts, and we talked, and it was exactly what my soul needed. Self-care is such a buzzword right now, and it is a really, really important word, but it looks different to different people and in different seasons. There were seasons in my life where it needed to look one way. Now, this season, it needs to look like something else. I am embracing what that is now. I am so grateful that I have learned how to take care of this body, this brain, and being able to share with you also that self-care looks lots of different ways. We don't have to sit watching Friends with a glass of wine. Sometimes it is sitting and reading next to your child. And sometimes it's getting your butt off and going doing a really hard workout and feeling so good that you did a hard thing. And sometimes it's about going out and working your body till you sweat like crazy and feeling good that you did something hard and you feel proud of yourself. I can run now. Take a moment. Put a comment. What does self-care look like to you in different seasons? Thank you so much. I'm glad you joined me today. I hope you get a chance to take a look at some of my other videos, enjoy some of the food and recipes that I do, and make sure that you click the subscribe button, and we'll talk to you again soon.